Ladies, let's be real for a second. We don't fall in love with words, we fall in love with feelings. And men, if you want to truly connect, to inspire, to be unforgettable, it's not about your wallet, your looks, or your smooth talk. It's about how you make her feel. Women crave one powerful, soul-shaking feeling, and when you give it to her, everything changes. Today, we're going to talk about what that feeling is, why it matters, and how it can transform your relationships. This isn't about playing games. This is about showing up with presence, power, and purpose. Emotional safety is one of the most powerful feelings a woman can experience in any relationship. It goes beyond surface-level charm, beyond sweet words or fleeting gestures. Emotional safety means she can be her full, unfiltered self without fear of being judged, rejected, or misunderstood. It means that in your presence, she feels calm instead of cautious, open instead of guarded. This feeling creates the space for her to be vulnerable, honest, and fully expressive, something that surface charm alone will never achieve. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her walls begin to come down naturally. She doesn't need to play a role or perform to keep your interest. She can talk about her insecurities, her dreams, her past, and her fears without feeling like she's too much or not enough. And that kind of openness only happens when the person she's with proves, over time, that their interest in her is grounded in authenticity, not just attraction. Emotional safety isn't created overnight. It's built brick by brick through your tone, your responses, your energy, and your consistency. Men who understand emotional safety know the importance of active listening, not just hearing her words, but actually understanding what she's trying to communicate. It's about being fully present in the conversation, not distracted, not dismissive. You show her she matters by the way you respond to her truth, not by how fast you can solve her problems. Sometimes emotional safety means simply saying, "I hear you," and meaning it, not fixing, not judging, just holding space for her emotions to exist. Emotional safety also means showing up with emotional maturity. It's not about being perfect or emotionless. It's about having the self-awareness to manage your own triggers, your own reactions, so you don't make her feel like she has to walk on eggshells. When you respond with anger, sarcasm, defensiveness, or stonewalling, you're not just ending a conversation. You're making her feel unsafe to open up. And once that safety is broken, it's incredibly hard to repair. She may stay, but a part of her will shut down. You create emotional safety by being dependable. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. If she confides in you, you don't use it against her later. If she cries, you don't roll your eyes or tell her to calm down. You create safety with your actions. How you show up when she's not at her best, how you treat her when you disagree, how you respond when she says no. It's about proving that you're not just there for the highlight reel, but for the raw, real in-between moments too. Surface charm can feel exciting, even addictive in the beginning. It can sweep someone off their feet. But charm fades fast when it's not backed by emotional depth. What lasts is how someone makes you feel over time, especially in the hard moments. And for women, that feeling of emotional safety is non-negotiable. It's what makes her feel secure enough to fall deeper, trust more, and bring her whole heart to the connection. Charm may get her attention, but emotional safety keeps her soul invested. It's the difference between a relationship that's fun for a season and one that's built for something real. Presence is one of the most underrated yet powerful elements in any relationship. It's not about how much time you spend with someone. It's about the quality of that time. A woman knows when you're there but not really there. She can feel it when your mind is somewhere else, when your phone gets more eye contact than she does, when your answers are automatic and your energy feels distant. True presence is about showing up fully, with your mind, body, and attention grounded in the moment you're sharing with her. Presence communicates value without words. When you're present, you're telling her, "You matter. This moment matters. I see you, I hear you, I feel you." That's a level of connection that no expensive date or perfect text message can replicate. It's a sense of undivided attention that makes a woman feel cherished, understood, and safe. When you're truly present, she doesn't have to fight for your focus. She doesn't have to repeat herself or feel like she's competing with the noise of your distractions. That presence builds a kind of intimacy, that makes her feel deeply connected to you. Being present doesn't mean just being physically close. It means being emotionally available. It means tuning into the subtle shifts in her tone, the expressions on her face, the things she says and the things she doesn't. When you're present, you notice the energy in the room. You recognize when she's feeling off even if she hasn't said a word. You ask questions not just out of curiosity, but because you genuinely care about her emotional world. You're not waiting for your turn to speak. You're actually listening, not just to respond, but to understand. Many people think presence requires grand romantic gestures, but it often shows up in the smallest, most consistent ways. It's the way you put your phone down during dinner, the way you look her in the eye when she's speaking, the way you remember details from a story she told you 2 weeks ago. It's the way you pause to ask how she's really doing, not just a casual "how are you," but a real check-in that says you're tuned into her. Those moments, though small, send a big message. I'm here with you, not just around you. Presence also requires intentional energy. In a world full of constant distractions and divided attention, being present is a choice. It means leaving the stress of work at the door. It means silencing the inner voice that wants to think about tomorrow or fix 100 other things. When you're present, you give her the gift of your full energy, and that energy is what she remembers. That's what makes her feel prioritized, not just included. And in a world where most people are busy being busy, someone who can offer their full presence becomes unforgettable. This kind of presence can't be faked. A woman will feel it immediately if you're just going through the motions. She doesn't need you to say the perfect words. She needs to feel your energy aligned with your attention. When your mind is calm, your heart is open, and your focus is fully on the moment you're sharing, she relaxes. She opens up, she trusts more. That trust and openness deepen the bond between you. Presence becomes the silent language of intimacy, telling her everything she needs to know about how safe and seen she is in your company. Validation without judgment is one of the most powerful ways to build emotional connection and trust with a woman. It means allowing her to express herself fully, her thoughts, her emotions, her fears, without trying to shut her down, fix her, or make her feel like she's wrong for feeling what she feels. Many women are used to being told they're too sensitive, too dramatic, too emotional. Over time, this teaches them to hide parts of themselves, to shrink their voice, to filter what they say. But when a man offers validation without judgment, it gives her permission to be her whole self. Validation doesn't mean you always agree with everything she says. It doesn't mean you have to feel exactly what she feels. It simply means you acknowledge her perspective as real, valid, and worthy of being heard. It's about showing empathy, putting yourself in her shoes and understanding what her experience feels like to her. When you do this, you're not just listening to respond, you're listening to connect. That connection is what makes her feel safe, respected, and emotionally understood. A woman who feels validated blossoms in ways that surprise even her. Her voice becomes stronger, her trust deepens, her energy softens. She starts to share more, not because she needs to vent, but because she finally feels seen. And when she feels seen, she lets you into parts of her that most people never get to access. She opens up about her past, her wounds, her dreams, her insecurities. She becomes emotionally intimate, not just physically present. That kind of connection is rare, and it only grows where judgment is absent. Judgment, on the other hand, shuts her down instantly. It might come in subtle ways, a sigh when she's emotional, a comment like "you're overthinking," or a dismissive tone when she's expressing concern. These signals tell her that what she's feeling is inconvenient, irrational, or unwanted. Over time, she will stop sharing altogether. She'll keep her feelings to herself, or worse, she'll start doubting whether her emotions are even valid. This is how emotional distance starts to build, and once it sets in, it's hard to reverse. Validation without judgment requires self-awareness. You have to be able to manage your own discomfort when emotions get heavy or unfamiliar. You have to resist the urge to correct, fix, or minimize what she's saying. Sometimes the most powerful response is simply holding space, being present, and saying, "I understand why you feel that way." That one sentence can create more intimacy than 100 clever solutions. Because in that moment, she doesn't need a solution, she needs connection. She needs to know that her emotional world is not too much for you to handle. This kind of validation also means accepting her full emotional range. She's allowed to be angry, confused, sad, anxious, excited, all of it. You don't get to pick and choose which emotions are convenient or comfortable. Loving a woman means loving the totality of her, not just the parts that are easy to deal with. When you validate her without trying to filter her, you create a bond that's real, raw, and unbreakable. You're not just tolerating her emotions, you're honoring them, and in doing so, you show her that she can bring all of herself to the relationship, not just a version she thinks you want. Consistency that builds trust is one of the most crucial yet overlooked foundations of a strong emotional connection. It's not the grand gestures that make someone feel secure. It's the repeated, reliable actions over time that create true emotional stability. For a woman, consistency means she can count on you, not just in moments of romance or fun, but when life feels uncertain, when communication gets tough, and when emotions run deep. It means you show up in the same way, with the same energy, whether it's day 1 or day 1000. Trust isn't built through words alone, it's built through patterns. It's the way you text her when you say you will, the way you follow through on your promises, no matter how small. It's the way your actions align with your intentions, creating a sense of safety that allows her to open up emotionally. When a woman sees that who you are on Monday is who you are on Friday, and who you are in private is who you are in public, she relaxes. She lets her guard down. She begins to believe that your presence in her life is not temporary or performative, it's real. Inconsistency, on the other hand, creates confusion and anxiety. It sends mixed signals. One day you're attentive, the next you're distant. One moment you're vulnerable, the next you're cold. That unpredictability forces her to overthink, to question, to wonder where she stands with you. And when a woman has to guess how you feel, or whether you're going to show up in a stable way, she begins to lose emotional safety. She might stay, but she'll stop trusting fully. Her connection to you will start to feel fragile instead of grounded. Consistency also shows up in the way you handle conflict and communication. If you disappear when things get tough, or shut down emotionally when she expresses how she feels, that creates emotional instability. But if you stay present, even when it's uncomfortable, if you keep your tone steady, your body language open, your mind willing to understand, that consistency builds a deep, unshakable sense of trust. It tells her you're not just there for the easy moments, but for the ones that actually matter most. For many women, past experiences have taught them not to trust too quickly. They've seen how quickly words can turn into empty promises. They've learned to watch patterns, not listen to speeches, and that's why your consistency becomes your character. It tells her everything she needs to know about your emotional integrity. If your love is only loud in the beginning but fades with time, it doesn't feel real. But if your actions remain steady, respectful, and intentional, even after the excitement of the honeymoon phase fades, that's when trust is truly earned. Even small acts done consistently carry more weight than big gestures done once. Saying good morning, checking in throughout the day, remembering something she told you last week, being on time, being honest even when it's hard, listening the same way when she's excited as you do when she's upset. These are not dramatic moves, but they build a rhythm of reliability that becomes the heartbeat of emotional connection. She knows she can count on you, not just when it's convenient, but when it's inconvenient too. That's the kind of presence that earns her loyalty, her openness, and her trust. Consistency is not about being perfect, it's about being accountable. When you make a mistake, you own it. When you miss the mark, you communicate. You don't pretend or disappear, you stay grounded. That kind of behavior builds a sense of emotional trust that goes deeper than any temporary attraction. It makes her feel emotionally held, even in uncertain times. It shows her that your love is not a mood, not a phase, not a game. It's a commitment reflected in the steady way you choose to show up, again and again.